What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Hard Copy Media podcast. My name is Colton. I'm the owner and I guess de facto CEO of Hard Copy Media. And today I'm joined by Jay Brodeur in the guest chair. So Jay is a camera operator here in Arizona, and he's taken quite a unique kind of, let's say, entrepreneurial journey through film and the creative process. So today we're going to talk about what Jay does, some red flags and green flags and DPs, and how to be better people for your camera operators. So before we get all into that, though, Jay, I just want to know myself, because frankly, I don't know exactly how you got here. But let's talk about, your story, like what got you into film and kind of what different big stepping stones have you taken along the way to get here today as being a camera operator in Arizona.
Yeah, for sure. So it all started with my dad. My dad owns a church here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's called The Refuge.
Okay.
And we were doing like different trips and different stuff just for the youth out there. And he decided to invest into a camera. And we got it, and we were just taking pictures of events that we were having at the church and little stuff like that. And then we came up to a missions trip, and he wanted to get photos and videos of the trip so that when we come back to Sunday morning church, he can show the congregation why that trip is important, or why it's important that our kids go on that trip and what they learn and all of that stuff. So I kind of became the designated videographer for the church. Gotcha. And as it started, this was 5th grade, by the way.
Oh, my God. That was like itty bitty baby Jay.
Little baby Jay was doing this. Everybody was shot at a low angle, and I was just filming up everybody's noses. And
walking around, I just picture you like walking around with a DV camera, like,
It was a Canon T5i. It was a mirrored T5i, and I was just filming everything as much as I could, taking photos, videos. It was a lot of hybrid work. And then eventually it just kind of blossomed into I was the designated video person at the church. And I got my first wedding in 6th grade, and I shot a wedding for $400. It's not fancy. It was
$400 in 6th grade.
Huge.
That's like, dude, you're a millionaire in 6th grade. If somebody handed me $400, I'd be like, oh my
what
goodness.
Are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing? How many Xbox games am I buying?
So it was super cool. So I did that, and then I probably did one wedding a year for the church. Like just somebody in the church was getting married, and they just wanted to remember the ceremony or whatever. It wasn't anything fancy. It was, in fact, there was no audio, no professional audio. It was scratch audio from the camera, and that was just usually the DJ recorded, but I wasn't professional enough to get it from the DJ. Okay. So it was up to the bride and groom to remember that. And then I went through high school, and I kind of put it on the back burner a little bit. I played sports. I put it to the side. And then when I graduated from high school, I was going to go to Full Sail University.
Okay, I know Full Sail.
But
you a big Film Riot fan?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
They used to be sponsored. He went to Full Sail.
Oh, really?
Full Sail used to do a lot of ad reads on like old school Film Riot.
Film Riot stuff?
Yeah,
old
school
crazy.
Film Riot had a lot of Full Sail
No,
ads.
I never really got into. They were not a YouTube channel that I frequently came across.
Oh, man, dude, Film Riot carried me through film school.
Really?
Oh yeah. That's a separate story.
Shout out Film Riot.
Yeah, shout out Film Riot. Ryan Connolly, killing it still.
But so then I was going to Full Sail. 2019, I was going, and then COVID.
Oh,
and
God.
And my recruiter hit me up, gave me a call, and he was kind of like, you're still more than welcome to come. Your scholarship still stands. However, you would be living in your dorm for like the rest of the year.
Oh, God.
And it was kind of a choice where it was, well, do I just do SCC online and just stay here, or even ASU online, and just kind of hope that my credits transfer, or that I still get some sort of scholarship and I get to be home, because I'm not going to go all the way on the other side of the country
just to sit in your dorm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
that's terrible.
And it would have been cool. I would have got a free computer and had all the access to everything. But I just ended up not going. So I got a big boy job, and I started working in a warehouse, and I did that. I did that for like 2 years. I was in a windshield warehouse, and it was cool. It was fun, honestly. It was fun. But it definitely derailed me a little bit from doing film. And then at some point in those 2 years, I thought, well, let me pick up the camera again and start shooting on the weekends and make a little bit of extra money. And that was when I started working heavy with Caleb Marsh of Red Legend.
Love Caleb.
Shout out Caleb. And I was doing a ton of stuff for them, and they ended up contacting me for 3 jobs over the course of a week, and I had to say no to all of them
because you were working.
Because I was working, I couldn't quit the daytime stuff, and all 3 of them would have been $400 or so. I think it was like maybe 5 or 6 over my biweekly check. So the gears switch, and you go, well, if I could get 6 of those jobs, then I would be doing this. And I was like, how could I not get 6 of those? In a month.
No, that's only this many.
You know what I mean? Like I was like, I've got to be able to outsource that. So that day I went in, I put in my 2 weeks, and I started doing it full time, freelancing.
Sweet. Yep. Okay. I think that's a really important thing to touch on for so many professionals. Is like a lot of us, I feel like, think about like, how can I possibly make the leap?
Yeah.
You know, like when you have guaranteed like every 2 weeks this much will be put in my bank account, how can I just get rid of that? That decision was made for me. Like I was part of a mass layoff, and like I was fortunate enough to have been with the company long enough.
Balls to the wall.
Yeah, I was like, all right, well, I'm going, you know, like it was made for me. Yeah. It was something I was planning, but like finally someone just ripped the Band-Aid off for me. But at the same time, like I think that's a really healthy way of looking at making the leap from you know, W-2 non-creative employee, let's just say, because like there are W-2 creative roles that can still be fulfilling and offer a good work-life balance.
Or even you could still put that on your resume and keep making steps towards where you want to be.
Yeah, exactly.
But I can't put windshield driver on my resume. No,
nobody
today.
in film is going to care about that.
No, nobody.
I'm not sure people in film are going to care about your resume so much. It's like the 3 people they call up to be like, "How was he on set?" You know, like usually takes like 1 gig with someone to be like, "Yeah, I'd work with them again." You know?
True.
Okay, sweet. So I love the fact that you just kind of like fell into it, picked up a camera, started recording things. I had a similar journey. I couldn't draw. I wanted to make video games.
Okay.
But I can't draw. Like my brain doesn't translate the 3D images in my head to paper real well. And so I picked up a camera and kind of never looked back. So very similar, like, hey, this is just how we ended up here.
For sure.
Now you mentioned that, you know, you used to take on clients, not just your church wedding folks.
No,
that is wild, making $400 for a wedding in 6th grade. I was nowhere near making that much money doing anything except maybe weeding like massive yards in 6th grade. Like that was, I could only do manual labor in 6th grade. Nobody would pay me for anything skilled. So hats off to you. That's
should
rad.
You probably pay a 6th grader for anything of that amount.
If you are paying a 6th grader for your wedding film, you should know what you're getting into. Like you probably have clear expectations. But that said, you know, if you used to have clients and now you don't. So for anybody that doesn't know, a camera operator is part of the camera team on set, and they are responsible for, you know, working the camera, holding the camera, positioning the camera, a lot more than that as well. But like you're very hands-on in the camera department. You are literally the guy with the camera. But you work as part of a, you know, usually I should say a crew. Where there's a DP, there's a first AC, maybe a second AC, so on and so forth. And there's a bunch of different types of camera operators as well. You know, on bigger productions, you've got your Steadicam operators, and you've got jib operators, all of that. But in Arizona, generally speaking, everyone kind of does a little bit of everything here. You know, we got some camera cars, we got some jib people. You know, like we definitely have that. But a lot of our productions, you might be doing a little bit of all of the above,
for sure,
especially depending the scale of production,
for sure.
But how did you go from, you know, okay, I can get 6 of these jobs a month, and being essentially like full freelance for yourself and potentially having clients? It sounds like you were kind of always fitting into like working for agencies or other production companies. But what made you go from having clients and being full time, just all around filmmaker to specifically camera operation?
Yeah, so just to backtrack a little bit, right? I get those 3 jobs, I put in my 2 weeks, and I start moving into kind of just being a freelance videographer at the time, just kind of a jack of all trades. And then I started, obviously that begins to snowball, and you start to pick up a couple of people that want to keep you for whatever it is. So then I get an LLC and I start to go, okay, how does this work? And then that's actually where the safety net comes in, right? You've got people paying you $1,500 a month, and then all you think is, well, I just need 2 more of those, and then and that's typically just how it goes. And I was just kind of getting a little bit, it just burnt. It just kind of, you're just kind of over it, and dealing with them is always a headache. I've never had a client that was fun, and I think that's the budget range.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that when you're working with people that are only willing to pay so much within a certain budget, you're just not working with people that understand the headaches that we experience as creatives and in businesses, or even people that will give you the money to do what you want. I feel like that was a big learning curve that I had to go through, is that all of these bottom of the barrel clients are paying me $500 for a video that I don't even want to put on my website. And then you start to kind of get clients that will go, here's $1,000, do what you want. Like, you're the creative, you're the professional, I trust you. Yeah. And once you get those, it's a whole new world.
Those are the best.
Seriously.
Are the best. Someone who's like, this is the target I'm trying to achieve.
Yeah.
I like the way you see things.
Yeah.
I've heard that before. I like the way you see things. I like your eye for stuff.
Yeah.
This is what I want at the end of the day. Like, you take over from there. Like, those are always the best.
Yeah.
And
but they're a dime a dozen.
They are a dime a dozen. And I'm not trying to, shit talk clients here.
No,
okay?
No.
Like,
we love our clients now.
We absolutely love our clients. But I do find a very similar thing where typically speaking, the lower the budget, the more money that represents for them.
For sure.
And because it then is a proportionally larger investment for them, that creates more micromanagement, that creates more anxiety.
Yeah.
And so, the only way to overcome those types of client relationships takes a lot of calls, coaching, a lot of putting them at ease, making sure that they understand that their investment is still going to produce the results that they want. Or, let's say they had a $5,000 budget and they wanted a $40,000 techno crane shot, walking them back from that and being like, okay, for $5,000, we can do this, which is like that, but doesn't, isn't going to have the exact same
feel,
nuance to it. There's a lot of that. And I do think that it does take a special, I don't want to say desire, but a special tact to want to have those conversations all the time.
For sure.
So a lot of folks that for example, we were talking about my editor off camera earlier. She just doesn't like dealing with the clients and finding all that. It's just not her favorite thing to do.
No.
So that's why we have such a great relationship. Is because I take that part on.
Yeah.
And, yes, she takes notes directly from clients, through frame.io and all that. But at the end of the day, when it comes to final client communication, worrying about how many hours she is on something or whatever, that all comes back to me and talking to the client. And that puts her completely at ease to just focus on, doing the best creative work possible.
Right.
So I think that that's a really symbiotic relationship with folks like yourself who have a clear preference for where they slot into a set, and then the actual realities of the business world and how people are actually spending money.
For sure. Well, and it was getting dangerous because I was starting to get burnt, and I started to become more okay with putting a client in their place. If they were breathing down my neck, I would be like, yo, you've got to trust me. Back off. I've said that to a client before. We were filming something and she was like, can you just get a little bit closer? And I looked her dead in the face and I was like, you hired me to film it. I'm going to film this. You're taken care of. But it was definitely a little bit of a heated exchange.
Yeah, you get into those it starts to manifest itself in a confrontational way.
So I started to, and once that happened, I was like, I need to figure it out. I need to start shifting gears, and I need to start passing it off, because it's not for me in the long run.
Yeah.
I can do it, and I can show face, and I can be very nice for the first 6 months of a relationship, but anything after that, you start to kind of go, okay, what the heck? Why are we
established all this trust, we built this relationship, but now
starting
a year in, you're still treating me like it's my first day working with you, kind of thing. Okay.
So that's where the burnt started to begin, and then I went to New York in May for 3 months, and that was kind of okay, what do I do with these clients? So who do I hand them off? How do I?
Then you were faced with oh my God, I'm not there. Yeah. Let me run a business
and be gone.
Yeah.
And it was kind of one of those things, but I was beginning to get burnt, and that's why New York was such a great opportunity because it was something new and I could move on. But I knew that I wouldn't want to go to New York and then come back and be back in the same spot. So instead of finding people that I could handle and keep the clients, I just completely let the clients go and just handed them off to some people around the valley. And then when I came back, that is when I pivoted. So now, coming back from New York, I'm a full-time freelance camera operator.
Okay, sweet. Now, when you were in New York, were you doing camera operation jobs? Like, is that kind of where it started? Or like, that was just kind of like the creative reset you needed to come back and be like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go all in on this one thing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What was the,
I actually
what was the path there?
I did not touch a camera in New York at all. I was the technical director at the campground. So it was a church camp, and they would have families come in for the week and do, they'd have a new speaker every week and all that stuff. The way that I describe it to people every time somebody asks is that I was basically the I was the Sunday morning technician. So if anything went wrong visually or even audio, it would be me and my team that would take care of it and fix that. So we had 2 PTZs in the main auditorium, and then we had one just a regular Sony camcorder, a nice camcorder. It was a 4K,
Sony makes some really nice camcorders.
The newer ones,
still making them.
Yeah, they are.
So people are still buying them because they just came out with a new one. I saw CPP do a video on it. Yeah,
and it's sick. So shout out Sony. But so we would do that, and then there was another room that had 2 more PTZs, newer PTZs. I think those ones were bird dogs, and then we would fly in the camcorder as well for that one too.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So you were kind of running like a multicam production, kind of live stream situation, and then came back and was like, all right, I'm all in on this camera operation thing. So for anyone who doesn't know, let's say marketing directors, other folks on set, as a camera operator on a typical production, let's say, not the high end, Gatorade money rolls through or something, or like the PGA Tours here, but like your run-of-the-mill, middle-level stuff here in Arizona. Like, what are your roles and responsibilities?
So typically anything to do with camera falls to me. I do my best to tell a DP, I want you to send me as much of the pre as you can, like as much of the storyboard, as much of the shots, everything that you can, the shot list, all of it. Send it to me, and then we can focus on camera, and then that way you can pay more attention to your lighting or whatever. And then the fancy stuff, the DP can kind of come back in, whether it's a dolly or a Steadicam or whatever. Not that I'm not capable of it, but at the end of the day, the DP is going to trust themselves as much as possible to get those kind of things. So that's typically what I try to do. That being said, as what I would say the leader of the camera department at that point, I focus on our heading and what we're going to do next, not just what we're doing. Because once you're up and doing it, it's super clear. But me and my first AC, we're focused on the frame now, and then the second is typically always focused on what's coming up next, and then we just kind of catch each other up and we go, okay, now we're going to go to a tight shot from the medium, and we're going to get this, and we need to remember about our composition. It's just a lot of teamwork, really. So
I think that's probably why I enjoy like creative projects the most. It doesn't matter, it could be building a studio, it could be, actually filming, a short or a narrative piece or whatever. I love the creative process of working with a team and either problem solving existing things for the shot or, planning out ahead and trying to figure out how to maximize your day and, make sure you hit all your shots or the first day you'll come over and,
And hey,
get yourself together.
For sure.
All right, sweet. So then you work with a lot of DPs. I don't know if you know this, but that's like my dream role is to just be a DP. I know I'm running a media company right now, but like means to an end. Like I want to go shoot a Star Wars movie, man. Like I don't want to.
Well, at the end of the day, you are the DP.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm the DP, the producer, the director, the writer, sometimes the talent. No, when I don't blame you for wanting to hand off all your clients and go on a simpler path. There are a lot of things that go on when you decide to do it all.
For sure.
But that said, I would love to know, what are some red flags in a DP when you're coming to a set to, come in and operate? And what are some green flags for a DP as you're coming in?
You can always tell, like, I think that it's always interesting to me when a DP and a director butt heads, because you have to understand that it really is two different worlds. It like really is, even though they're going to work as close as anybody can on a set together. But I was just on a set where there was just so much miscommunication towards the DP and the director, and I don't think that it falls too much on the director, because at the end of the day, the DP probably did the shot list. The DP probably did. You know what I mean? So the fact that there's not enough, the fact that there's so much, okay, what's next? And there shouldn't be what's next. It should be, this is what's next. And I think that that's, to me, is the biggest example of, I mean.
Like a beige flag, maybe?
I don't know. It's hard to say, because how do you say, like, it's definitely a red flag, but it's also just a beginner mistake.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I feel that.
And we make those all the time.
Oh, God, yes.
All the time. Like,
God, yes.
simple things that you go, I've been doing this for 10 years and I forgot the lens. Like, how do you forget the SD card.
Yeah.
Like, there's
so
so
gosh,
much.
Rolling up to a set without media.
There's so much, but it happens all the time. But they're just rookie mistakes.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to say that it's a red flag, but I would say the more I work with the DP and that becomes a common theme is what's next, it's like, okay, we're entering red flags.
So see, that's one of my rules for my team is, like, I encourage people to make mistakes.
Yeah.
On any production I'm on. Like, if I'm in any sort of leadership role, make a mistake.
Yeah.
Just don't make the same mistake twice.
Yeah. Let's learn
You know,
from
like, if you make the same mistake over and over and over again, then you're just telling me that you're not learning.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you make a mistake, and it does, I mean, I have fried cameras.
Yeah.
I have dropped lenses.
Yeah.
I have forgotten media, forgotten mics. Like, I have
all of it.
I have done just about everything shy of physical harm on anyone, knock on wood, has happened on one of my sets.
Real.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, you know, every time I'm like, okay, that's a lesson learned right there. Yeah. Like, you know, we just fried one of 4 cameras we need for this production. How am I, like, immediately, how am I going to find another camera? Yeah. You know, like, it's just like, we can't sit here and wallow in it, but, like, got to learn from it and move on. So that's definitely a standard, I think, that you should, you know, always hold yourself to, but always also hold your crew to.
Definitely.
Is cool. We messed something up.
Yeah.
Like, let's fix it.
Yeah.
Or let's do it again, and let's do it without the mistake.
Yeah.
But, like,
yeah.
focus and don't do that again.
Yeah. And something that I always grew up with the motto of is that failure is always an option. Like, always. People are always like, we can't fail. We can't do this. And to me, I'm the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I'm like, it is okay, and it will probably happen.
Yeah, probably. It absolutely will happen.
Like,
if you're taking the right chances, like either creatively or, like, literally career-wise, like, you're going to fail.
You're going to fail.
Coming back to the shot list thing real quick, I just think it's funny because it's like a hot topic on filmmaker, like, I don't know, I guess you could call it like film talk. Or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But, like, you know, I think someone even recently asked Roger Deakins, like, who makes the shot list?
Yeah.
And Deakins was like, well, I've worked with directors that make the shot list, and I've worked on productions where I make the shot list. Yeah. So, like, it always does come down to, like, the partnership between the DP and the director.
For sure.
But I do think that, like, somebody's got to have a plan.
Yeah.
You know, like, there have been some productions I've been on where, like, the DP's basically directing the thing.
For sure.
You know, like,
everything aside from talent.
Yeah.
Like, that DP is handling, which is not the DP's
job.
Not
technically, no. But, like, sometimes, you know, whether it's an inexperienced director or just director preference, or maybe they have a great working relationship, like I think film Instagram and film TikTok need to calm down.
Yeah.
Like, I think who makes the shot list is entirely up to the creative partnership.
Well, and I think it doesn't matter as long as somebody's making a shot list.
That's true. Yeah,
Who cares?
Having no shot list is really the problem.
Let the first AD make a shot list. Just somebody make a friggin' shot list.
Oh man! All right. So green flag in a DP is going to be knowing what's happening next, whether or not it's their shot list, knowing where we're going next, and understanding the plan. Red flag would be kind of like repeating mistakes or just constantly not knowing where things are going.
Definitely.
Okay. When it comes to kind of, you know, on-set things that make you go, I never thought about that.
Ooh.
What are some tricks or tips that you've picked up that can make not just, you know, the camera team, but potentially anybody who's on set, not necessarily a better person, but maybe more productive, or like that one thing that's just really nice, you know. And I'm not talking about like when you go to Crafty, bring back Crafty for the camera department, you know, like make sure your key grip's always got a cup of coffee in his hand. Like I'm pretty sure we all know to do that stuff at this point. But like I'm talking like little tricks, like when your camera breakdown, like second or third AC, like take all the cases and line them up and open them all up so that you guys can start packing efficiently. Like what are some of those little tricks you picked up on?
That one's huge. I think for me, it's anything with time, because the number one thing, especially as the camera operator, that I hate is that when we're waiting on camera, hate it. So if there's any way to speed things up, I'm all for it. So opening up cases to break down on time, or even just getting there 15 minutes early.
Yeah.
Because people will do, I've seen it now more than ever in these last 2 months, is that I'll get a call sheet and somebody will say call time is 8 a.m., but then shoot time is 9 a.m. And I've always found it interesting because I've just thought, why are we not just cameras up ASAP? Like, why are we not just trying to get up as fast as we can?
Yeah.
I don't feel like the shoot time is something that the entire crew needs to be aware of. You know, I feel like that gives people a reason to be, you know, well, it's okay that I'm 15 minutes later than I should have been.
We've got an hour to get set up.
You know what I mean?
I think that's the wrong attitude to have. Like,
I agree.
Minimum is an hour for setup.
For sure.
Even with the prep day.
For sure.
Like, minimum's an hour. I personally like 90 minutes. But,
yeah. But I think there's no reason that we shouldn't be there. We shouldn't be there at 7:45. And then, because if our call time is 8, I think we should be ready by the call time. And I understand that that's a little crazy. But even if you're 30 minutes past call time with camera set up, you're still 30 minutes early to the shoot time. So I just do my best to be as efficient as possible, even if that means we know that we're going to go to dolly. So I'll pull 2 grips to the side and have them set up a dolly for the next shot, or for the next 2 shots. Or we're going out and I'm going to take a lens with me just to be safe, that I can swap between different focal lengths. Just little stuff like that can just create efficiency, but can create a sense of, not a sense of urgency, but just we're on time, and that means that we can get these things, and we can look to these certain areas and have fun and be creative and get different ideas for what's next.
All right, sweet. And then if you have any gear tips, like let's say, there's a lot of folks out there that don't have budget for camera operator.
Sure.
There's a lot of folks out there that don't have budget for a first AC.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are working with marketing teams, marketing directors, running their own agencies. And I mean, I know you know this from working with a lot of the various productions here in town. Like, you know, sometimes you're all the things in one, and you're just working with the director. Yeah. So what would be a gear tip that you've got in the camera department that would save time?
On interviews and talking heads, it's almost a standard that you always do 2 cameras. On narrative shoots, I've been trying to gun for more cinematographers to do 2 camera setups.
Gaffers are gonna hate you.
Hate it. But it creates lighting to be. You just have to make lighting a lot more simple than what they were aiming for. But I was just studying up on how David Fincher shot The Social Network, and they did everything 2 cameras.
Yep.
So they would do a tight, more profile, and then they would do a medium, like waist up, kind of like how we are right now, and then they would just cover everything. But that way, and that helps because David Fincher loves to do 85
I was gonna say David
takes.
Fincher will do 90 takes on 2 to 3 cameras. And then so
it makes sense. But I've always loved the idea of doing a narrative and just doing multiple cameras ready to go. And most of the time, I know you said gaffers would hate me, but most of the time you can get away with just going tighter, just doing a B angle tighter. And I feel like that would help with a ton of time. I'm sorry, I feel like that's so lame, but I don't.
I mean, it's not lame. So I mean, my bread and butter is corporate interview multicam setup. So it's definitely not lame. And I do agree. I think that running, especially dialogue scenes or anything that like, even if it's narrative, if it mimics like what would be an interview setup or like a corporate setup, like running more than 1 camera makes a lot of sense. I think that it's for, more like blocked shots or
For sure.
like that's when gaffers kind of get a little
Yeah.
I mean, I know some gaffers that just hate multicam because it's
No,
twice
for
as much
sure.
work, you know,
Yeah.
because they want each angle to look as absolute best, which is obviously like their job. It's why they're so good. It's why you're paying them. But like, you know, sometimes if you've got a tight day, like you need to get those extra angles in, and you know, if the performances are there, or if the interviewee is a C-suite executive or, you know, something, like you've got to be really respectful of their time too.
Definitely.
They're not going to sit for multiple setups, you
For
know.
sure.
You get all your angles, you get out. Like if you watch like I've been watching a ton of Drive to Survive because I'm a big F1 fan.
Okay.
We fell into that during COVID,
Nice.
and now I've got an F1 TV subscription, and we've been to an F1 race, and I've got multiple F1 Lego cars. I'm really in it, but I love the way that they shoot their interviews.
Yeah.
I'm decently certain they shoot with 4 to 5 cameras.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's always one setup.
Yeah.
And they're just cycling people through.
filming.
And they're going to be cutting potentially storylines from one person to the next in the same interview setup.
Yeah.
So you got to have those different angles because, like, for example, if I were doing an interview in here and all of a sudden we were to switch people, we've only got 3 angles. So one of these is all of a sudden, oh, Jay's going to be different. Oh, Colton's going to be different. Or we cut to the wide, oh, they're both different people. Like, it doesn't look right. You know, so you need those off angles. You need those kind of like, you know, true multicam angles in order to help with doc style stuff, I feel like, especially. Because otherwise you end up kind of shoehorning your editor in where like they got to cover something with B-roll and do like an L or a J cut or something, or they've got to, you know, teleport someone, which will look really funny on camera.
Super weird.
Yeah. So no,
well,
good tip.
And they do that too because I mean we all know that certain angles can invoke certain emotions in the audience and stuff like that. So when when somebody says something that's uncomfortable, you want a frame that is
kind of uncomfortable,
a little uncomfortable. And you want that because you want the audience to understand, along with the music and the sound effects and all that stuff, that it makes them feel that same way when something eerie is getting set up or whatever it may be.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree, and it does save a ton of time.
For sure,
it does save a ton of time.
For sure.
I've started shooting basically every interview or corporate setup with 3 cameras.
Yeah,
which. Sorry, my editors. Sorry,
for real.
Google, like all the places I store media.
Yeah.
But it helps a lot.
Yeah, no, and now you're investing in twice as much gear, and it is.
Don't get me started on gear.
It's so ridiculous.
I did a whole episode on why gear matters and how not to spend too much money on gear and how to justify gear.
Somebody needs to, because gear matters, and I'm sick of hearing people say that gear doesn't matter.
It does.
Gear matters.
Gear does matter.
Don't let anybody tell you different.
That's a perfect segue into the end of the show here. So I did warn you about this. I've dropped this on people just completely unawares.
Well,
and put them on the
I
spot,
appreciate the heads up.
But I did warn you. I want to get one hot take from you. Just give me a viewpoint that you hold dear on anything involving the creative process, filmmaking, the film industry, media, marketing, social media, any of the things related to what we do as professionals.
So I was reading this last night, and I was trying to think of what my hot take would be. And part of me is like, oh, that's not a hot take. But then part of me remembers how many times I've heard it on set being said. And I just think it's such a dumb thing. But the amount of times that somebody will say, that's not my job. I mean, it's almost enraging to me at this point. Because, and I don't know if it's me as the camera operator that feels this way, because I think PAJ or Grip J would probably feel
like not care
a little different about it. But we were just on set, and the DP was like, we need to strike the trash can. And I went in to go grab the trash can, and he grabbed me, and he was like, that's not your job. And I was like, no, let me tell you what is my job, okay? Because everything in this frame is my job. So if the trash can's in frame and it needs to go, I'm going to take it out of frame. Like, I get it that set deck this and set deck that, but at the end of the day, if you don't want it in frame, I'm going to, like, somebody's taking it out. It's going to be me. It's going to be the first AC. And that's a conversation that I've had with a lot of first ACs, is that our job is what's in this little square. So if we don't like it, or if somebody else, I've told lighting, like I've brought it up to the DP, and I'm like, hey, do you see that light there? And how we were doing we were filming through a window, but we had it diffused. So we just had a little bit of diffusion on it. But then they wanted soft top. So for those of you that don't know, soft top is a mixture of hard light and soft light. So it's a little bit of diffused and a little bit of just harsh neon. So I think they had like a 600 coming through the window and then a Fresnel peeking through it. But the diffusion, if you can imagine, was folded at the corner so that the Fresnel could peek through. But that triangle of diffusion looked weird. Like I was like it's very,
you could, like, see it.
Yeah. So I brought it up to the DP, and then they kind of I think the gaffer and the DP kind of laughed about it because I think they were just talking about it, but then they went and they changed it. But they kind of laughed at me for it, and I was like, I don't know what's so funny.
Was that a good note? Was that a bad note? Like, are you laughing with me or at me? Like,
but even though that's not my department, that's in frame, and it is my job. My mentality of it is, if this is going on my resume or in my reel as a camera operator, or if you're going to see my name in the credits as a camera operator, like everything that's in the frame is my job. So I don't know. Part of me is like, it feels like everybody should know that. But at the end of the day, I've heard it so many times on set that, oh, that's not your job. But
I do think, I think you bring up a good point. I think that that's also a byproduct of more of an independent scene as well, you know? Like, definitely, like, if you're on a big set, like New York, LA, like, there are union rules. Like, certain people don't touch certain things.
For sure.
But, like, on a lot of smaller mid-range productions, like we talked about earlier, like, usually it's everybody kind of scrapping together, helping each other out. Like, if our department is already prepping on the next thing and we just need to scooch a trash can, like, unless a union boss is going to come yell at you for something, like, just scooch the trash can. Like, I know it's not my job, but, like, we're all here to create this thing together.
For sure.
You know, so, like, while I do respect and appreciate boundaries in roles and positions.
Agreed.
I think that there is still something that is to be said for, like, collectively working towards the best thing in that square. And sometimes it's just more convenient. You know, hey, let me do this.
And we were camera up. So we were picture up, like, ready to go. Rock. So if it happened any other time and the DP was like, we need to fly this trash can out, I would have went.
Still prepping.
I would have went and got set deck, and I would have pulled them in. And I would have said, hey, DP wants this out. We got to move it out. But we were literally, we were going. So
I do think that that'll probably change as a new generation,
maybe,
and a new guard kind of fills in a little bit.
One can hope.
You know, I think that also does. You get more. That's not your job on the bigger the production, the more not your job.
Which it should stay there.
And then the continuum is the smaller the production, the more like, no, man, we're all here trying to make something great. Like, you know, like. We've got a PA who's also a grip, who's also, helping
who's also
with
doing craft services,
who's also craft services, who's also getting lunch. Like, you know, we've got a couple of multifaceted roles
for sure.
You know, PAs get a raw deal out here in Arizona. They do everything.
Gosh, it's crazy. It's crazy.
All right, well, last question then, last fire round question. What is something that the audience can check out that is either educational or inspirational? Where should they be looking for something cool right now, either to creatively inspire them or to teach them something new?
The biggest thing for me right now is just staying up to date with where we are in the industry and what people like and what people don't like. A big common, like a good example of this is that people are really struggling with today's color grades and how movies are being perceived in color and the desaturatiedness, or the fact that every movie now just
kind of looks the same,
has a Netflix look or whatever. So to me, studying that and just kind of thinking, okay, what can I do to stand out, or what can I do to kind of make it look that much more different in this project and stuff. But even taking that on a corporate level, and a client hires you, and then you go in and you say, I want this to stand out amongst the masses for your clients and for this person. So for me, the biggest thing is to just study what's out there. Anything that's new, anything that's going on. I try to go to the movies once a week, and I try to be in the movie theater and see on the big screen what I like, what I don't like, and really take it into my craft and do that. I know that that's such a cliche
movies
answer.
is your
No,
inspiration.
seriously, like seriously.
That's not a bad answer though.
Yeah,
'Cause you're talking about the Netflix look, and the first thing that popped into my mind that I think everybody needs to go watch is Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Because it is a Netflix movie,
and it's so different.
Looks nothing like a Netflix movie.
So
it
different.
Is beautiful.
And people love it. And that movie wasn't for me, but people love it.
No.
But people love it, and you have to look at it and you have to think, well, what do people love about this, right? And you have to break it down, and that, or even what you don't like, and you go, what do I not like? I just rewatched The Bear the other day while I was cleaning up, and I just was reminded of how much I love the coverage.
Yeah.
Like the color grade is okay. It's not really that special.
It's not, I feel like
but it's
Bear's
different.
not trying to do anything to stand out. Like
Anything
they want
crazy.
you to feel like you're just hanging out there in the kitchen with them. You know?
Yeah. But they're doing full 90-degree profile shots for their coverage instead of simple OTSs.
Yeah.
And it's just different, you know, and kind of taking that and trying to understand what's a good direction and what you like and what you don't like and what you can learn from other people.
I think that's a great point to end on, because at the end of the day, no matter what you do creatively, people are going to work with you. People are going to hire you for your specific tastes and your viewpoint. So there is no right or wrong answer to how should we frame this shot. There's rules, there's standards, there's tropes, there's things you can do. But like at the end of the day, whether someone's hiring me or Jay or any other number of the amazing folks here in Arizona, like they're going to want to work with you for who you are and how you see things and how you problem solve on set.
Yeah.
And that all comes from how you develop your tastes.
For sure.
What movies do you like? What types of shots do you like? What types of lighting do you like? How do you like your color grades? All of those things that you are contributing to in the end piece are the special sauce that people are actually paying for. So, no, I don't think your inspiration point was a bad one.
Good.
There's always something to see.
Yeah.
And I do think that movie theaters are the best place to go see stuff. Anytime I can see something in the Cine Capri, I'm rearranging my day to make sure I can see it in the Cine Capri or IMAX or whatever the biggest possible screen I can get it on is.
For sure.
So, no.
And at the end of the day, if you're seeing things and you're not inspired, go make what you want to see.
Yeah.
Go make and create what is going to inspire you, because there are going to be people out there that are in the exact same boat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a good point to end. So, Jay, where can people find you? Where should they follow you? What are you up to?
Yeah.
Give us a little plug.
I'm on Instagram. Jay is the best, but it's TEH instead of THE for the. And then Sunshine Motion Pictures. You can find both of those Instagrams. Check me out on my website, sunshinemotionpictures.com, and reach out to me. Let's do something. Let's shoot something.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. I think this has been a really fun, creative conversation. I've certainly got to know you a lot better. We've always known each other and been in similar circles and stuff, but I feel like we've never sat down and just chat.
Yeah,
so this is great.
Super cool.
Thank you guys, of course, for watching or listening to another episode of the Hard Copy Media Podcast. If you enjoyed this content or found anything informative or valuable, please let us know in the comments below. And if there's either a specific guest, specific department, or a specific topic you want us to cover, please let me know. You can shoot me a DM or comment or whatever medium you wish to reach out. You could also email me at hello@hardcopymedia.com. And of course, obligatory follow, share, all the social algorithm goodness. But thank you so much for spending some time with us, and we will see you in the next one.
Ow!